Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's. Hello, beautiful friend. Welcome back to the podcast. Oh, I hope you are loving spring. Oh my gosh, we just celebrated the equinox last week. Over the weekend, we had the most glorious weather here at the Phineas Wright House. It's this one sweet little 61-degree day that's tucked into all of the 40s and 50s in the weeks to come. But it was just this beautiful promise of what is on its way. I can see about a 1/4 inch of the peonies coming back. There are some crocus popping up in the lawn. It's just the promise of goodness. It's so good. Oh my gosh. We have also been growing and cultivating our fabulous membership, the Say Yes Sisterhood. And we welcomed in another queen last week, which is so exciting. So if that has been on your heart, come on in. We are having a glorious time cheering each other on toward our next yes. We have a weekly call. We have a private community group that we're encouraging each other in during the week. You also get all of the Say Yes Summits included as a member. But if you want to try out one of the summits beforehand, our next opportunity is very soon. April 15th and 16th is the next Say Yes Summit. These are 2 days of beautiful podcast guests coming together. So I've got 8 women coming together over 2 days. It's on Zoom, so you can join from anywhere, and it's also recorded, so you can watch the replay if you're not available from 1 to 4 Eastern on Tuesday and Wednesday, April 15th and 16th. But we would love to have you in there. It's so amazing to have the experience that I get, being on these calls, talking to these amazing women in real time. If you are a part of the summit, you are live on the call. And so if you have a question for one of our fabulous guests, panelists, then you can put that in the chat and we'll have a conversation. And it's just been such a great time. I loved the February one, and I'm super excited that we have April, June, August, and November. I'm so thrilled. So save those dates. It's going to be a good time. But let me tell you a little bit about April. We have Adriana Schumann and Mo Carrick. They are fantastic women that I've had on the podcast, but you haven't heard those conversations yet. But you'll hear from Adriana next week, I think. We've got Alex Sabag and Elizabeth Martorara, whom you have already heard on the podcast. Valerie McKeon and Elizabeth Teglau that you've heard, and Claudine McDaniel and Nicole Kramer, whom you've heard. So they are all fabulous women. They are going to be our panelists for the Say Yes Summit, April 15th and 16th. And our theme for this summit is permission. I'm so excited to dive into that topic. I am also so excited to introduce today's guest to you. She is so lovely. We had the most beautiful conversation, and I wished that she relocated to Massachusetts instead of Texas because I just want more time with this amazing woman. So let me tell you about the fabulous Judy Greenfeld. She is a rabbi and cantor, lifelong entrepreneur, and published author, dedicated to empowering forward thinkers to evolve through ancient wisdom and modern wellness. At 16, Judy tragically lost her father to gun violence, a profound experience that ignited her lifelong journey of healing and spiritual exploration. Through years of study and practice in somatic dance, dream work, meditation, sound healing, and Kabbalah, she developed a unique approach to personal and communal transformation. Ordained as a rabbi cantor, she founded a welcoming community for unaffiliated Jews seeking to rewrite their negative stories about religion, and now serves as senior rabbi cantor at Beth Israel in Colleyville, Texas. Beyond her rabbinical duties, Judy's mission is to cultivate inclusive spaces where people of all backgrounds can come together, find support, and explore a path of self discovery and shared purpose. Right? Was I right? She's amazing. I cannot wait to share this beautiful conversation with Judy Greenfeld. Judy, I can already tell that I'm going to love this conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I can tell the same. And what an uplifting moment in this day, because it is a tough day, and you are clearly in the energy that I want to be in and that I can be in because we've got choice, right? And we've
Oh
got each
my
other.
gosh. Yes, freedom is a decision away. It's so beautiful. And to our listeners, the time of this recording is Tuesday, November the 5th. And speaking to my future self, my champagne is chilling and my thoughts are only centered on what I desire to happen. And I'm having a great day. Are you having a great day, Judy?
I am now
Good.
because I feel that this is all there is.
Yeah.
I really, when I woke up this morning, yes, I could be in that energy. I forgot that. And I can also be in the energy since I just moved to Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, and I have a new job with a new congregation. There's so much to be done. And then I remembered, as I was preparing, wait a minute, what do you want to say yes to today that is going to uplift you? How are you going to take care of yourself? Because that's all you have. And it's hard because, we live in this world that's like pulling us down. And for you, I know, and for myself, my work is in finding a silver lining
Yeah.
and in uplifting what seems dark. And, it's interesting. I can do it for others, sometimes easier than I can do it for myself. But I know that it's practice. It's like a muscle that you have to keep working because otherwise it will atrophy.
Absolutely. It's one of the reasons that I'm obsessed with this podcast, with this opportunity to have these stunning conversations. Because, like you said, we can say it to another person, but the beauty of saying it to another person is our brain is listening, our mind is listening, our heart is listening, and we are listening to each other. And we know we teach what we need to learn. And this is complete divine timing to have this conversation today. And news flash, listener, every day is divine timing. Everything that you're doing, you are exactly where you are meant to be. You are having the conversations you are meant to have. So show up for them as the woman you want to be. Show up for them as the woman you are becoming. And let's collapse the timeline between where you are and where you want to be every day with great intention and grace and joy and freedom and choice and agency and all of those things that we have access to because we hold the keys.
Hmm. Well, I also got this flash before, I was meditating before we were meeting today. And I also realized that it's reframing your
Yeah.
brain. The moments that you can reframe your brain, like, what are you feeling anxious about? What real, if I feel anxious, it's going to stop me from being available to you. And
Right.
where would I miss out on that? And for your listeners too, maybe you're having one of those days where, you know, I don't know, you don't feel very good. I know that I'm wrestling with my knees right now. I've always been a dancer and somebody who's been
Mm,
out there, and I really am facing the fact that I'm not that old, um, but I have to have a knee replacement because I can't live with this pain. And
right.
it stops me. I love working with little ones. I still dance, even if my knee is killing me. And then I'm laying there and icing it. But I'm a mover. And
Right.
movement is what I am on the inside, and movement is what I am on the outside. And that being said, movement is also stillness. The not
Mm,
moving, settling, and I'm not running around like crazy. Thank you, God. But
right.
I do miss my physical ability to not feel tired from constantly, I guess accepting the pain or knowing that it's there. And I realized that today is a day of acceptance, that I'm
Mm,
exactly supposed to be today. And I sometimes don't like hearing that, but I also was studying. Every week I study with a partner with another rabbi friend of mine. And we were talking about the fact that why aren't we only given good things? Like, why do we have to have the other side of everything? We see a half a rainbow, there's an under rainbow as well. And in my tradition, there is so much of a um, reminder that those moments of suffering don't have to be suffering.
mm,
When you think of them, it's like, oh, I don't want to feel despair. Oh, I don't want to feel grief. Oh, I don't want those bad things to happen. Well, we don't have control over that, right? But they create the entire picture, and they do sharpen us. And I will have a very different feeling about a whole different compassion for women that are going through these challenges. I mean, I was a fitness instructor way back when, saying you just got to move those muscles, and and that they'll keep you younger when you get older. And I could just kick myself because the joints wear out.
right.
And then to laugh about that too, because you know what, everybody thinks that they know. You don't know unless you've walked in someone else's shoes. That is so true. Or unless you've been through it yourself, just like what you said, you walk your talk.
Right. And I think that it makes it, if you can have that mindset, either on your way to the contrast or the unwanted emotion that's waiting for you, or have a moment of clarity within that to think, oh, okay, well, this is happening. How can I best take care of myself during this time? And how can I be in service on the other side to somebody else that will be having a similar experience? It almost makes me, because I'm odd this way, it almost makes me grateful for the things I'm going through. I'm currently in the process of a divorce, which I don't feel like it matters the time of this recording and the time of this airing, because that just is a process that takes much longer than anyone wants it to. And it's all fine, but I am grateful for the experience because I am finding myself in conversation with countless women who are sitting in the question of their marriage, and they can't imagine what is going to happen if they practice this insane courage and choose themselves and go into the unknown. And I feel like I'm modeling what happens when we say yes to ourselves and we go into the unknown. I freed myself, and I also freed my husband in that process, whether he believes that that's true or not. It really is. And I mean, I've seen it. He is free. And it's provided an amazing experience for our daughter because when she's with her dad, he's totally happy. And when she's with me, I'm totally happy. And she's getting a happy childhood.
It just makes me love you even more. I knew that we would be fast friends. I could just tell. But the last thing I thought you were going through is a divorce. I too
Mm,
have gone through a horrible divorce that
mm,
continues to echo negativity because my other half is unwilling to move forward. He's very angry and he remarried very quickly and whatever. And it was so jarring and traumatic to my entire system. And it was for my children, I see too.
mm,
And they're still trying to have a relationship with him. And the new wife doesn't want, like, is mean. So
mm.
these are things that I have no control over. But what were my boundaries were is I don't put them in the middle.
Yeah,
He has. I really have allowed that to be something separate. I almost feel like I wasn't married. I was married for almost 30 years.
yeah.
Um,
22
and
for me.
it was, yeah. And that's a real shock. And also sometimes I think back and I think, well, what if I hadn't had the courage to do that? What
Hmm.
if I hadn't had the courage to finally say, you know what? It's done. It's done. It's really done. And it is everything that you're saying. And the saying yes sometimes has to be on days where you don't feel like saying yes. And the
Right.
saying yes may be, hey, I'm staying in bed today. Or the saying yes might not be politically correct because all the steps that took me to where I am today, which is in a new life, I also let go of my synagogue in Los Angeles. It was time, and a lot of things happened. I see that it was so necessary to end well, and because I have this beautiful new congregation, but I never thought that I'd be working again in this capacity. And so, just as you're saying, it's courage and it's faith. It's
Yeah.
faith in knowing that you will attract those beautiful opportunities and people. And I'm, ready to come to to join one of your trips to go learn culinary, um,
Delights.
or cooking, yes, with single women, because
Yeah.
I feel that sometimes we stay in relationships because we're afraid to travel. I was terrified to travel, and I went through a
Mm,
lot of fears that I didn't even know I would feel like, oh my God, it's dinner time and I don't have any plans and I'm afraid to go out to eat by myself. But I did because this
yeah.
is the one thing I could say about women. They are so strong
Yes.
and they can be so loving and supportive. And, you know, again, I'm a rabbi, so it's hard for me to ask for help. And yet I
Mm,
learned how to do I learned that I am not any more or less of a person than anybody listening. We all feel the same things. We are not impervious to grief and all the things that come along with freeing ourselves.
right.
And then there's chaos because it's like, well, what do I do first? Even if your life it does have all these wonderful things happening, you know, it's it's re-navigating, it's recalibrating, and that's not comfortable sometimes. It just isn't.
Correct. Yes. And I am not a rabbi and I have a hard time asking for help. So I think that it is, it's, what's most personal is most universal. And I've been practicing this. I've been practicing asking for help. I'm getting better at asking for help. Now I have to practice receiving help because I asked and then the person said yes. And then I don't take them up on it, or someone offers and I say, no, 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 it's fine. As if just the practice of being willing to ask was enough. But no, like it's time
Yeah,
to up the reps. Yes.
yeah. I love what you said about receiving, and that was a big practice of mine especially last year. And now that we're talking about it, I want to re-engage that ability to just take my meditations into a place of receiving all that I'm given in a day. I mean, you are giving to me right now. I'm giving to you. That
Mhm.
is a gift. That really
Yes.
is a gift. And I believe that's a gift from a higher place because of the path that we're on. And if you're like me, I'm sure your listeners are like this too. I feel that I
Yeah.
forget these experiences that I've had that are so wonderful. I can
Right.
forget them quickly. And I thought it was because I don't have pictures of them. Like when we were younger, we would
Mm.
put pictures in an album and then, then that time would become so wonderful. And then we had like our phones and we have millions of pictures and we don't always get the chance to look through them. Luckily, they organize them for us
So nice.
nowadays. But, to make that a practice every night of like, or even every week at Shabbat, like, what was I given this week? Who were the angels that helped me move forward this week when I was a
Mm.
little down? Who, and was I an angel to myself? And,
Right.
and this is what I have to do because I don't know, it isn't something I think women gravitate to so easily receiving. It's
Right.
difficult. And I almost have to imagine that I'm drinking the most delicious
Mm.
elixir of life. Imagery helps me a lot
Yes.
when I can't quite get to that tangible. Yes, I loved the experience and it was great, but I have to almost watch it nourish every cell in my body and trust that I have received like that bath that I really need, and can absorb and soak in.
Yes. It's so beautiful. And it's that practice that is so transformative, the experience of it, and then the realization that you just held space for yourself to have that type of experience with the divine. And that is available anytime we are intentional and make that connection and hold that space for ourselves.
Yeah, that's another thing too that's really helpful. What you're talking about is holding space. I'm curious how you hold space. I always ask that for people because it's something that I've been asked to articulate quite a bit. I'm curious, how do you hold space?
That's such a great question. Thank you. Because I say that a part of the bed and breakfast and what happens on these trips, I love holding space for women that are holding space for themselves. So, how I do that for other people is having conversations that are expansive and getting water and sunshine on their dreams that are in their hearts. And that's how I hold space for myself as well. I let myself dream. And I am so good at this. I dream big. I was just dreaming big last night with Amelia. We were standing outside. Well, first we were talking about our house and I was drawing an outline of it on a piece of paper. And I said, she asked me if we were going to do something different with our house, like rebuild something, what would we do? And I thought, oh, I love you so much. I must be your mother because that's a great question. And I had lots of answers. And I would change the roof line over here and I would add on over here. And she couldn't understand my addition to the house. So we went outside and I said, okay, you stand over there and keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. Okay, that was all your bedroom. And so then she started imagining what that could be. And it was just so fun. And I was so elated and so delighted with that experience. And I was so happy. Thank you for asking me this. I was so happy because at least 5 times in this 30-minute exercise, I was present enough in the moment to say to myself, I'm having so much fun right now. I love this so much. I love that we're doing this together. And I wasn't even saying it to her. I was saying it to me. Like I was narrating my own experience and it was everything. It was as if we have now moved into this house that is completely expanded in ridiculous manners. But she said, Mom, would that make our house a mansion? And I said, sure. Yeah, I guess. And she goes, oh, that sounds amazing. We should do that.
Yeah. You know, as you were speaking to it, that whole idea of the creative is my joy as well. The creativity, I think, saved me at times when things were dark, that I just thrive on making, teaching Judaism in a modern way, not being old school, finding the beauty in the ancient women and their power and strength, and modernizing it, with those roots of the ancient. And that excites me. That is exciting to think about. How can I take that to the next level?
Mm.
And yes, when you're in a house, and houses are important to me too. And just, thinking about, okay, well, where could flowers go? Or where can I put the magic is really the question that excites me.
Oh,
And
I
I can see
love
that
that.
too. And you don't get stopped by, well, I don't know, well, how am I going to get the money to do it? I mean, those things are how many people think, and they will not
Right.
allow themselves. And I'm sure many of you out there who are listening to this say, yeah, that's all well and good, but it'll never happen. So I don't even want to think about it.
Mm.
And what I say to that, and when my head gets negative, because we all get negative, and we
Sure.
wouldn't be this positive if we didn't have the dark, the light and the dark. And so I
Absolutely.
have to remind myself just what you were saying. I'm in a moment of joy
Yes.
where this is making me happy, really happy. This is so funny. I'm in a new place. I took everything with me. I haven't lived in a new place in 40 years.
Oh my
And it
gosh.
was, yeah. And um, I moved from a huge mansion to a nice condo, but then here I have a backyard again. I've been missing a backyard and waking up to hear birds and flowers and those kinds of things. So I bought bird houses because I love watching the birds, and I have never bought bird houses. I started with a hummingbird feeder, and I was so sad because I didn't see any hummingbirds, and there were a lot around. So I don't know, maybe that has to change. I have to get something new in there. But I received those bird feeders, and this morning I said, I'm just taking time to fill up those bird feeders, and I'm hoping that somebody comes and visits me.
I'm sure you've set all your intentions out there. Oh gosh, I love that. And I love that we don't have to wait for the how. That's not I I liken it to the conversations that you have with the architect and the conversations you have with the builder. So the architect is all about the dream. Like whatever you dream, I've got a pencil and I can draw it so it can happen. Where the builder is going to say, well, that'll be expensive, or there's a supply chain issue, or blah, 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 all the things that the builder says that I'm clearly not available for those conversations. Um, but this was a moment we were even pre-architect. We were just in this beautiful, blissful situation. And the yes of that moment, that's what unlocks the how. That is what gives me the
I love that.
magnetic power to draw those things to me. And truth be told, I don't know how I'm doing everything I'm doing now. I don't know how I'm having this beautiful life, except for I am saying yes after yes after yes when an opportunity feels aligned. And it also makes my no feel very empowered, sometimes very courageous, but I know what feels good in my body, and sometimes that's go to Paris on New Year's Eve, and sometimes that is have a courageous conversation with your husband and he leaves, and sometimes that is go clean the chicken coop. I mean, they're just it's it is overarching and it has completely changed my life, but in a way that I feel like I'm an actual cooperative component to my own experience rather than just waiting for someone to do me a solid or do what I considered the right thing. If I just stay small and happy and bake cookies and I'm really nice, then all the other people will give me everything that I want and need and desire. But that's apparently not how it works.
No. And especially in this day and age, there
Mm-hmm.
is, I mean, people are afraid to give. They're afraid there's a scarcity, a feeling of scarcity that if I give to you, I won't have enough.
Exactly.
And, you know, you've said a couple of words that are so important. They should be like flashing, like little neon signs. This idea of that the yes unlocks the how. Love that. I'm going to quote you.
You can quote Amber Lillystrom. Amber Lillystrom said it.
Well, and even that, by the way, is so beautiful that you are passing that along that way, because that is a really important message, and it's contagious. Just like some, even when we get sick or have the flu, that can be contagious, but so can this positivity.
Yes.
And fact that you're not saying my life is perfect, and you're not saying, and you know I'm in a time in my life and I have questions about what I'm doing and all of those things, and I'm still a dreamer, and I'm still dreaming. And that experience that you mentioned with your daughter, I could see it. I mean, I could see it in 2 seconds. Beautiful, beautiful. And that's, I feel like, what we're doing. Like your
Right.
podcast was a dream. I wouldn't be here if last year I wasn't having a dream of wanting a backyard and needing something different and wanting to a congregation and whatever that was. And sometimes I forget that I deserve to be here for taking all those courageous steps. I didn't skip
Absolutely.
steps. You clearly didn't skip steps. You are in your body, in the driver's seat. And to remember that no matter what happens, you are in that driver's seat and you're responsible, even for the
Right.
bad. But there's
Right.
lessons in all of that. There really are things to go, wow, I'm never doing that again.
Right. And I'll get another chance because there'll be another day tomorrow. And if there's not, then I won't care. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. That there's always one more step to take. There's always one.
Absolutely. And I know you've probably already answered this in this beautiful conversation so far, but how are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
First of all, it's fun to be in a season because Ellie doesn't really have seasons, and
Right?
I love that feeling of fall and all of that. And I think the way that I'm saying yes is conversations like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's these podcasts have been so important for me to be outside of my life and to realize that there are so many beautiful women and so much beautiful potential and like-minded people who are living life. I
Yes.
mean, that's what else is there? We're all on this planet to do what we're doing, which
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, I mean, do what we're doing as long as we have that intention of embodying our soul's work. And
Right.
even if we're not, if you're unhappy, and I realize this, if I'm not happy, it's because I'm not doing that work. I'm avoiding it or I'm
That's right.
running away. because there are times I will accept something, it sounds so great, and then I'm like, why did I say yes? Why am I doing that? And so I think that what you're talking about as well, that I'm cherishing here today is that there are worlds within worlds,
Mm-hmm.
and I get, or wavelengths, I guess I should say. And I get to decide which wavelength I get to be on. I can be on the TV, Netflix, whatever, I can be in that one, or on the social media one, but this is the one that I want to be on. This is real life. This is smelling the flowers that you grow. Um, this is dreaming, and not dreaming without your feet on the ground.
Right.
Oh, it's constantly, I mean, even a flower growing isn't blooming every day. It doesn't bloom all the time. It has to be a stalk. And you could be a
Right.
stalk in your stalkness sometimes that may not look like it's going to ever have a flower or a leaf. But when I meditate, my meditation is about digging those roots in. I
Mm.
really imagine that I have roots that I'm digging deep into the earth with, because we can lose faith along the way. We can see some of the ugliness and just go, I didn't sign on for this.
Right.
And all of us are living with this feeling of, what is the future going to be? What's going to happen? I talked to my children today, and um, this uncertainty, we kept hearing that word a lot during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
the uncertainty. Not that it always hasn't been there, but it got louder.
Yeah.
And right at this very minute, you and I are sitting in uncertainty, and it's not a terrible thing. And we're not escaping
Right.
the moment.
Because I feel like we're reframing it. We are sitting in certainty, actually. Like we
Yeah.
know that we have agency and we have power and we have care and we have love and we are in service to the people that are put on our path for us to serve, you in your congregation, me on this podcast, us together in this conversation. And the things that I can't do anything about have nothing to do with me. So I don't have to spin in like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? I don't even know what's going to happen if I don't get my dahlias out of the ground before the temperatures drop. That I've got something to do with, and that there's a role for me in that. But other than that, I'm going to get up every morning and I'm going to meditate and I'm going to journal and I'm going to pray and I'm going to read and I'm going to prepare myself for how I can be of service, and that is the certainty that I'm living in.
Yeah. It's such a pleasure to hear that. That's the divine timing. And just thinking of rolling your sleeves back and putting your hands in nature.
Yeah.
Um, but we just came from from Sukkot. It's a very, all of our ancient religions were very agricultural and based on, the natural steady rhythm of the universe.
Mm.
We depended and never knew, are we going to have rain in this season? Are things going to freeze? And even if they do, it isn't the end. It's not
Right.
over. There's going to be something else that we're going to think of. And I think that's why innovation, everything has changed in our world. It continues to change. But what doesn't change, like you said, is the sun always comes up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a regularity that is very anchoring. See, and
Yes.
that's what I love about ancient religions, is that they haven't changed. Like
Right.
they've gone through periods of, they're more patriarchal and masculine, and now there's more feminine and whatever, but you don't have to tune into, you're not doing it. Your job is to anchor yourself
Mm.
in in what's nourishing. And
Mm.
thinking of you and those flowers, or like getting them not to freeze, or whatever it is that you do, because I think I have a black thumb.
That's
I'd
okay.
love to be able to grow one plant that, but That's a bulb, I can look at a bulb, and that brings me great, great joy. But I think that that's the one constant we have.
Yeah.
It's the earth. That's why people love crystals. It's earth. It's energy.
Right.
That's why, and the cosmos, that's energy. That's something you have no control over.
Right.
You can only go with or against. So when things get really, frustrating, I go back to that thinking and it's so calming.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because it's bigger than us and it's trustworthy, and we can surrender to that certainty, to that trust. And the surrender is not giving up, it's giving
Oh,
over.
yeah.
So, what are you finding in this new place? Fort Worth, Texas is not Los Angeles, California. That's a shift. I'm sure you are finding surprise and delight everywhere you look. But what are you so delighted that was waiting for you there that you just didn't know?
Yeah. I'm also in a relationship. I'm living with someone for the first time in
Congratulations.
10 years. Yes and no.
Right.
But what I am delighted about is that this new group of people, this new congregation, this podcast, these new things that I've planted seeds in order to do were worth everything. And I can still stay connected to people in LA. I mean, I think that the internet has created that for us, that I don't need to work as hard as I used to. I used to, I'm a hard worker. I enjoy hard work. It's naturally there.
Hmm.
I know that I'm of value. I know that I have good things to share. I know I have this sense of knowing. And when I sing, I know my heart is open. And that's been a real joy to find. And it's built a confidence in me that I don't think I had in LA. It's given me
Oh,
a chance to really look back at all that I did, and go, wow, if I had known that, you know, you can't always see all that you do. You can see it through others' eyes, but even you doing the things that you were doing, you heard I was like, wow, I want to do that. And how great is that? And how did you manifest that and everything? And that's your path
right.
because you've been open to it. And I had a beautiful congregation for 15 years that I created from nothing. And, I changed lives and my life was incredibly changed. So I'm getting a chance to receive some of that by being in a whole
Mm,
place and being able to apply all that I learned and give that again. I thought I was done and I'm not. And that's so exciting. That really
yes.
is.
Oh, I can't even imagine you being done. We just met. Don't be done.
No, no, I'm just getting started. So
Oh, it's so good. So, what are you working on now? What is so exciting? What do you want everyone to know about? Is there anything that you don't have to be in Fort Worth, Texas to have a part in what you're doing?
well, I can be anywhere.
Oh, good.
What I'm really working on is just putting things together. Like last year, I started a journey journal where I was teaching how all the months of the calendar actually have energy. And it's true.
Mm. Say
Ancient,
more.
well, every month that you go through has a certain energy and it's dependent on the moon. And the Jewish yearly calendar is a moon calendar. And during COVID, I started to learn sound bowls. I heard their sound. I fell in love with the crystalline sound bowls and joined this group online and for myself to raise my own vibration because I'm musical and I love that. And I was feeling
Sure.
and we are vibration. So I did this for myself and, lo and behold, years are going by and I became certified and I thought, no, this is too weird to bring to your community. But I did. And
Yay.
my dream was kind of to have a monthly moon sound bath connected to the ancient traditions of every month having a different energy, a different holiday, and a different opportunity to grow.
Mm.
And I'm teaching that as a class again this year. I did last year, and I started to create this journey journal that's beautiful. And it's finished from last year, and now I get to add to it again. But I really want to share it, whether it's with people here, whether it's in workshops or retreats, because all the information is true. And
Yes.
it happens because I live my life this way. When I notice different times of the year, I'm like, oh, no wonder I'm feeling like this.
Right.
I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not depressed. This is, a time of year that things are going to feel confused because it's all
Mm.
starting again. And that mess is important so that you can bring it all together and it can grow. That's what creativity is. And I want things to be in order. We all do, but you can't have order if you don't have the mess first. So that's kind of what I'm surrendering to, is that I don't have my schedule all figured out. I don't know the how of everything. And yet I'm getting comfortable in the discomfort,
Mm.
you
I
know.
love that. And can you explain, because I know what you mean, but can you explain a little bit more how that differs, when you're getting comfortable being uncomfortable because you're in this growth cycle, how that differs from being stuck in the quote unquote comfort zone, which is nothing but comfortable. But how do you know the difference when your resistance is because you're coming up against a growth edge or because you are settling or not living into what you desire for your life?
Ah, what a great question. What a great question. And who doesn't want to be in a comfort zone, like, kicking back and just getting into your couch and watching Netflix, whatever it is. And number one, I check in with a spiritual group.
Mm.
I try to mark my time, and I have volumes, just like you do with writing, of what was happening this time last year and how it might be different. And what this time of year also, I begin to think, well, what do I want for myself? What exotic trip do I want to go on with you?
Yes.
This is when I'm
Come.
putting things in place. And I've been in those places of resistance where I just get like a little kid, just frustrated. And if somebody says something positive, I'm like, I don't want to do that. What are they talking about? They're so positive. So no one wants to feel their own resistance.
Mm.
And those people have said to me, you need to embrace your resistance because that's what you're doing. And just like you said, holding space for yourself, it's hugging that kicking and screaming little kid that doesn't know what they want and is afraid to move forward. So I think that I know that leaving LA was leaving a huge comfort zone.
Mm.
And coming to Fort Worth is not comfortable, I don't have things at my fingertips. I don't, all the creature comforts are gone. And I need to take a look at, well, what is really necessary, you know?
Mm.
And there's nothing wrong with being in a comfort zone, but I think that what ends up happening is you start to feel a sense of boredom,
Sure.
and that boredom will push you. It's actually a gift, but it will push you, and you'll hear enough things around you that put you on edge. And the edge is you'll either get sick and tired of being sick and tired, right?
Yep.
It's so annoying that you can't take it anymore, or you're sick of that happy person or whatever that is. And then you soften. And it's a softening process. And as I get older, um, when I'm at that, like you're at that breaking point, I can't take it anymore. The softening is what has gotten me through it. Like,
Mm.
okay, it's uncomfortable. It isn't going to change, but can you be gentle in this? Like, can you soften? And as you know, seeds have to soften in the soil so that they can
Mhm.
open, right? And softening isn't giving up, and softening doesn't mean you're weak.
Right. Right. Surrendered.
I love that surrender because I'm going to say one more Jewish thing, but at the
Oh,
high,
I love all the Jewish things. Bring them.
there's a moment in the liturgy, in the beauty of the music, where you bow, and it's you're bowing to such a degree, and the Jewish people don't really bow. We do like a little bend, whatever, but this is when you prostrate yourself, like the cantor
Oh, wow.
prostrates themselves in front of the ark, which is, the wisdom, the Torah. And it's so beautiful. And I encourage people, I say, try it. Because when you are laying out flat, or if you have a day where you just don't know what to do with yourself and you just go lay flat and you go, I give up, like you surrender. It's the most powerful feeling of someone else, the higher whatever has to take over because
That's
I
right.
don't struggle anymore.
Yeah.
And you would have to do that in the liturgy. And it's my favorite time because
Mm,
people are witnessing that. But I
right.
know what it feels like inside to do it.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love the symbolism of it and also the actual practice of it that you are laying flat in front of your congregation, the vulnerability, but also the example that you're setting, the modeling that you're doing for them.
And because the holiday is all about looking at your character flaws
Mm,
and the places where you promised and you didn't follow through. And it's all meant to basically give to God. Like give God that because it's our humanness and we can do better. We get second chances. And that's what the holiday, most people don't even know that is meant to do, not make you feel bad about yourself. It's like, I got to give myself a good loofah scrub here. you
right,
know?
right. And be reminded we don't have to carry this.
Exactly.
It's not even ours to carry.
Yeah.
Mm, it's so beautiful. Thank you. I could absolutely talk to you all day long. I look forward to doing that at some point. But until then, please tell everyone where they can find and follow you and hear all the fabulous things you're up to.
Yeah. You can follow me on my website is www.rabbicantorjudy.org. It is Rabbi Cantor because I went to school for 16 years, first to become a rabbi, Cantor, then a rabbi of seminary, and loved every minute of it. Also, I have social media. I have TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. You can find me a couple different names. You could see Rabbi Cantor Judy G, and that's on my Instagram. Judy Greenfeld, any of those you'd be able to see. And I also offer, if there's someone out there that would like a 15-minute consultation, you don't have to be Jewish, but if you're feeling like you want to surrender to something and you need a little help, a helping hand, I'm there. And I would love to help you because we have to help each other. We can't do this alone.
Absolutely. That is so generous of you. Thank you very much. And we will link everything down in the show notes. But I have loved this conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
So welcome. And this is going to be a day for me to think back on and go, was I lucky on that day? Because it could have been a really uncomfortable one.
It was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wrighthouse and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.